Hello and welcome to the reading. Not every message and every reading is for everybody, so if you find yourself struggling with it in any way, leave it behind for those who it's meant for. As we begin, I'm being called to acknowledge that I do candle scry, and my candle is off to the side, and I will be touching in periodically for messages, images, signs, and symbols, and I'll share them. If something doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't mean it's not for you. It just means that you might become aware of it later. All right, so let's take just a moment. Let's surrender my ego, my story, my energy, allowing the divine to move into the space and pass through. Okay, and immediately I'm being called, my attention's being called to my spirit doll. In the front, she's wearing a medallion, and the medallion has some symbols on it. The symbols are a cup, a plus sign, and a triangle. A cup, a plus sign, and a triangle. And so for me, the cup is about fulfillment and feeling whole and complete, and the plus sign is about that coming together, that union of all things. And then she's also got that triangle, and the triangle is, of course, the triad. On the other side of the medallion, she has the word love written on it. And so maybe you're in a place, this reading resonates with you. This might be in a place where you've heard the call for the next part of your life, but now you are maybe questioning or uncertain about, what's blocking you, what's hesitating, what's keeping you from that place. So let's start here. I always put the cards down first before I begin the reading, just to get an initial takeaway. So we have the Four of Wands, the Lovers, and the Knight of Pentacles. So what's blocking the call? What's the hurdle moving forward on this particular path? This reading is for you. The idea of crossing that threshold, right? There is an element of crossing the threshold. Spirit wants you to know that when you make this move, when you finally kind of give in and you roll forward and you say, okay, I'm going to take this action, I'm going to move forward in this storyline, in this path, like that's absolutely brings you to this decision point. And crossing that threshold can be scary if you aren't aware that you can also come back from it, right? So it's not as though you're just kind of hanging out there in space, and you can always return back to home. And the idea is that as we go through the story arc of our life and we embrace like the next step and the next step, we can always come home. There's always a place to retreat to. And Spirit is encouraging you to take that step, to cross that threshold, knowing that once you do, you're going to come to this place where you have the opportunity to unite either with another person or with another aspect of yourself. I feel like this really is about you connecting with a deeper, more steeled version of yourself versus maybe connecting with another person. I'm not taking it out of context completely, but I just feel like this is more about you remembering who you are. And it's a slow process. It's not something that's going to happen, overnight. It's not a blink of the eye. It's not one of those moments where you can switch timelines seamlessly and effortlessly. This really is about doing the hard work and appreciating each and every step along the path, understanding that this union, this reunion, is one that's slow. It's intentional. It's not for the faint of heart by any stretch of the imagination. And that's probably why you feel such reservation or hesitation about answering that call and taking that step, right? So it's about honoring that that it is a process, and you may feel as though you're not ready to take that step or not ready for that aspect. And so Spirit would tell you that you're more than ready, right? If this reading is for you, you know in your heart of hearts that this is the next step. This is the next phase. This is the next evolution, cycle, or progression, right? You have this almost this inexplicable desire to do the thing that maybe everybody around you is like, this is not the thing. Like, why would you do this thing? This is insane. This doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, you know that if you can just embrace that threshold, right, and stepping over, you can move from where you are, from that internal strife, that internal combat, right, that we do with ourselves, those mental gymnastics, and you can move forward from that into the next step. But don't get me wrong, like the idea of that mental gymnastics, right, that we do where we debate all sides of our own position is a necessary part of our human experience. But Spirit is telling you that you've done that enough, right? You've already done that. You know what that's like. You've been there. You got the t-shirt. And so Spirit is saying to you, please just take the opportunity to move forward. And now we're getting the Two of Pentacles, which if you watched the reading that I posted previously, you'll know that we started out the reading with the Two of Pentacles. And so Spirit is just reinforcing that this next step, even though it's scary, even though it's uncomfortable, will bring you, to another version of you. Or it's possible will bring you to somebody who will complete you or bolster you. It could also be like a mentor to help you kind of take that next step. But what's blocking you from taking the step, from crossing that threshold, really is that fear of the unknown, that feeling of being maybe not good enough or uncertain about what's coming next. And maybe it's because the process seems or feels slow to you. And so at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords really kind of is the final message from Spirit on this, that just says, growth comes from manifestation, comes from that mental space, but wield that mental space, control that mental space, instead of being like at the wind, the beck and call of your thoughts. Like, control the thoughts, control the experience, and know that when you cross the threshold, you can absolutely come back, and come back in a much better way, and come back with knowledge and experience and a union of yourself that perhaps wouldn't be possible in any other way. It's an opportunity. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to leave what you've known behind you and create something new, to step into something new. So I'm getting over in the candle scry images of a dragonfly, a blue-gray dragonfly. And dragonfly may mean something to you. You may have seen it recently or seen a dragonfly. It could be a real dragonfly, or maybe something like on a sticker or a bumper sticker. Dragonfly has a lot of symbology for me personally. It's always that connection to those who have crossed on. And so maybe there's a loved one, someone around you that's important, that is encouraging, that's supporting you, that will be there for you, that may actually be, now that I look at this, may actually be that connection that you make once you commit to crossing the threshold, taking that next step on this journey, whatever it is for you. So I'm being asked to pull oracle cards that I don't typically use. And I brought them, and I clearly brought them for a reason. These, so I'm asked to put these two. So we have discipline and grace. Discipline and grace. Yeah, so Spirit is telling me that for somebody out there, for somebody who's listening, going through this process really is an act of discipline. Maybe you have started down this path multiple times before and only went through the mental process. You never actually took action to cross that threshold and to start down that road. It's been a lot of time in your headspace and not really too much in and the real world. And Spirit is saying, create the structure, create the discipline, and in doing so, you will experience grace, a level of deference and support from those who are in the 3D world, those who love you and care about you, as well as, the divine, the universe, God, Spirit, whatever you call it, as well as those who are in your family, your ancestral group that love you and also want you to be supported and know that you're supported. And I put these cards down, and they're almost like sitting in the hands of the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is saying that one begets the next, and that you shouldn't force either one. Allow them both to show up equally. Both are needed, both are important. So I'm going to pull one more card, and we'll go from there. So one more card. This is my preferred. Oops. Two turned over, they stuck together, so I'm just going to go with it. So we have the Sentinel and the Gambler. The Gambler is about taking risks, right? And this ties back right to that fear, that reservation, that hesitation about, wanting to know what you don't know. What's the outcome going to be? What's it going to be like? And so this card is asking you, Spirit is asking you to just trust, right? To take the risk and to trust. And that loss is only something that we create in our mind. It doesn't necessarily exist. We get to decide what a loss is and isn't. And then we're followed up with the Sentinel. This is the first time I'm getting this card, so I think that also, like the idea of being novel, right? We had the Ace of Swords, so that novelty, that fresh idea. It's asking you to focus on that determination and discipline, right? The Spirit is just reinforcing that there is a need for determination and discipline. Don't quit on yourself, even if you've done it before 1,000,000 times. Let this be the one time, the first time, that you hold yourself accountable and you follow through. You follow through. There's certainty that if you change your perspective, if you change how you look at things, if you take that journey across the threshold and you allow yourself to reframe your experience, there's certainty that you will move in a way that you never anticipated, that no one could have anticipated. Who you will become is so beyond what you can imagine right now. So I'm going to leave this reading here. I hope it resonates with somebody, and this is a powerful reading. This is your call. This is letting go of the thing that's holding you back, being brave, having discipline, and stepping through that portal, through that doorway. Be well.